organizing an out-of-state event right after the main event is a really great way to get speaking experience, get clients, and everything you could really ask for to have a successful business. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. This is actually a topic we also hit on a lot on the channel, public speaking, podcasting are some of the areas we hit on. So definitely subscribe and hit the notifications bell if you want more like this. Hello everyone, Marc Guberti from the Profitable Public Speaking Podcast. And one of the first out-of-state event that I did was in Las Vegas at Co-working Solutions. And the important thing about this event is it was free. I did not pay anything out of pocket to make this happen. I just established a relationship and it turned into an event where I didn't have to pay anything. And I bring that up first because a lot of people think that when you see these big events, like they take up the whole ballroom of a hotel or a stadium, that these things cost so much money to do. But if you're just doing a small scale out-of-state event, a really great experience for a few people, you really don't have to pay anything if you could get the right venue. So a few different venues that work for this are co-working spaces, restaurants, libraries. Some hotels even give you really cheap space. So those are certainly a few of the different venues to consider because we really want to keep costs low for an out-of-state event. Now, in terms of negotiating, sometimes there are spaces that they will happily take you for free. There are other scenarios where you do have to negotiate. So in my scenario, I always say, if you give me the space for free, I will sponsor you on Breakthrough Success for one of the episodes, or I will sponsor you on Profitable Public Speaking for one of the episodes. So if you could do some kind of barter, that's going to help you get the venue. It also helps if you can just say, I'll attract locals into the venue because then you get more customers. So these people, they will give you the venue if there's something in return for them. So for Co-working Solutions, I did mention them on Breakthrough Success. And these were people who, the attendees that came in, they asked a lot of questions about the workspace at the end of my presentation. They were really engaged. And it seems like there were a few who were on that fence of maybe becoming customers. So from their perspective, if we let this person, this case being me, do the event for free, but he brings in a bunch of people who become customers in the future, that's a good deal for us. Now, the final part about this is getting attendees. And for Vegas, there was no event that I knew of that really aligned with what I was doing. So what I had to do is I just reached out to individuals using Facebook and LinkedIn and who were in the Vegas area who seemed like they'd be a good fit. So I reached out to podcast hosts through LinkedIn who lived in Vegas. That is a search functionality you can actually do on LinkedIn, one of the most underrated social networks out there. And I just messaged people saying, hey, I'm doing this event. Would you be interested in coming? We have a free ticket for you if you're interested. I only had a few days to promote this, so I was giving away free tickets. If you give free tickets, more people will say yes, but you get fewer people to come. So maybe you do, let's say a free, we'll just do an example, a free ticket, maybe 50 people say yes, but then 25 show up, while a paid ticket, maybe 20 people say yes, but you get 18. So free ticket, you get more people say yes, fewer people actually show up. That's the difference. But in my case, I had a few days, so I made it free, because if you take the free ticket like a few days before, you're definitely more likely to show up than if you're someone who took the free ticket a few months ago. And I also did use Facebook. I looked for groups that had a bunch of business owners in Las Vegas. I messaged each one of them. The only thing with Facebook, though, is that if you send too many messages out, you get a warning from them, and you don't want to lose that messaging privilege. So definitely be a little more careful on that network. Use the groups. That's really good. LinkedIn also use the groups. That's really good too if you do want to use social media to attract more people to your event. And remember, this is an out-of-state event. So if you're wondering why haven't I said friends, ask them to come or anything like that, remember it's out of state. So in the case of me being in Vegas, I literally knew nobody in Vegas heading into this thing. So that's how you organize an out-of-state event. And I think really the easiest thing to do, if you're ever like, you look at your calendar, you buy tickets to something like Social Media Marketing World or something like that, the moment you do that, I would just start reaching out to like co-working spaces, libraries, restaurants in that area and say, hey, I could talk about social media. I could get a bunch of attendees. Would you be interested? And a bunch of them probably going to say yes, because they want you to get potential customers in there. Now, the only thing with the co-working space is you have to make sure you're getting locals in there. So for some of these events, like you might be having some of the attendees, like they're out of state also, but if you're still able to mix in some of the locals, like using Facebook, using LinkedIn, or coming across people at the event who are locals, then you're going to get more people in there who could be potential customers for the co-working space, potential customers right on the spot for a restaurant. That's anyone who comes, but long-term customers are going to be the locals. So as long as you're able to blend in the locals and people who you meet at the event, the big event that's happening around your topic that may not be locals, you get a really nice turnout at the venue. And at the same time, it's a win-win where the co-working space or the library or the restaurant or wherever you're doing it has long-term potential customers coming in. And if you guys want more public speaking tips, how to make money on the stage, some podcasting stuff, then I do recommend you subscribe to this channel, hit the notifications bell. Also check out Profitable Public Speaking, the podcast. We've got a bunch of really awesome episodes up already. We come up with something new every Tuesday. All new episodes come on YouTube, but they're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and other podcast players out there. So those are just a bunch of different ways to continue getting more content just like this. So signing off, what I want you guys to do is to dream big, achieve greatness, and to unlock your potential today.